How's it going, boys and girls? This is Dan from Daniel Hegarty's Movie Reviews, and I've got a little bit of a different type of video for you today. I've thought about the troubles people have when trying to buy a present for someone that is a bit of a horror / movie fan, and they want to buy them something horror related. And it can be quite difficult. One, because you don't know what films they're into, and two, because they might already have something if you just go for the standard thing, really. So I've picked items that should give you enough choice that will allow you to find something that hasn't been used before. There's a good chance that they haven't got it already, even if they're quite a big movie fan, quite a big collector. I'm going to point out stuff that is going to be interesting for any horror fan, especially. But instead of going for the standard sort of mainstream stuff, so the things like the NECA Doll and stuff like that, that's quite risky because one, they might already have it, and two, they might not actually like the second movie, which if they're the same as me and somebody bought me an It sort of collector's action figure, if it was from the second film, I might be a bit like, didn't really like that film too much. But if they bought me the original one from the Tim Curry version of it, then I'd be over the moon. So things like that can trip you up when buying something for a horror or a movie fan. But hopefully I'm going to sort of give you a few ideas, and I'll put all of the links for the items that I've chosen down in the description. We're going to start with stuff that's relatively cheap, maybe can be used for like a Secret Santa or something like that, all the way to some items that any horror fan would be really psyched about. Like, we're talking about items up to $500. So if money is no object and you want to get something really special for a horror fan, then that's what I'd recommend. So let's jump into it. Okay, so my first gift is for the readers out there. And if you look at Amazon, they have a selection of horror film cell bookmarks. So film cells are where they take a little segment of the film and the actual film reel, and you can actually see it. It might be in black and white, it might be in colour. And what they've done here is they've sort of laminated it in some sort of plastic and then put the title of the film it's from in the plastic too. So you see there I've got the Child's Play one, it's got Chucky and was it Andy Barclay in bed together. It's quite a well-known scene. Let's go back. But these are around $10. They said the Rocky Horror Picture Show there is $6.95. So perfect for Secret Santa. They got loads. They've got Carrie, and I did say that there's some stuff on here for just the normal film fans. You got The Dark Knight Rises and Star Wars and so on. Even The Simpsons, look, they do film sales as well. You've got some real retro stuff. So The Creatures in Black Lagoon, Bride of Frankenstein, The Mummy, The Invisible Man. I'm pretty sure if you just search for whatever film you know the person's into, you're gonna find something that person's into, the film that they love. But the other thing is they're so cheap that if you wanted to buy a few, like say someone reads several books at once, I've got a few friends that do that and they skip between books, then they can have one for each book. But they're just quite novel, and I think for a little simple gift, they're pretty cool. So the second thing on my list, going up in price slightly up to the $20 mark, is you can get these journals, notebooks, scratchbooks, whatever you want to call them, with the covers sort of made to look like the famous film's book. So you've got here the Handbook for the Recently Deceased, and a lot of you will know that is from the Beetlejuice film. And obviously the cover's there, but it's just a set of blank pages inside for you to write in there. And some people, there's the Necronomicon from Evil Dead. There's the Beetlejuice Handbook for Recently Deceased, and it's got some stickers and organisation cards and things like that. So literally you can just do some fun ones. So there's that's quite well, I've got a t-shirt with that on it. You've probably seen it on other videos, but that is the Scooby van with the horror icons on it, Freddy and Jason and all that. You got Hocus Pocus. Pretty sure that you could probably find I can't remember the name of it, but it's a book of spells here. But basically they are formatted covers to look like films that you've seen. There's the Thing there, I think. So pick a film that they like and get their front cover, and maybe they'll start keeping a journal. Maybe they'll just start writing. What I do is I write in mine films that I'm into or I've watched, so that I've got some notes when I come to do a review, if I want to do a review on it. So that's pretty cool. I'd be quite appreciative of something like that. Again, probably quite good for like a Secret Santa or a distant friend, relative that you know they're into. So number 3, I thought this was a great idea. So this would be good for someone that's going into horror maybe, that hasn't seen all of the films. What you do is you get a scratch off poster, and once you've seen the film you can scratch it off, very similar to the map of the world. Once you've seen the map, once you've been to that country, you could scratch it off. Very similar to that, you've got horror films that you may have seen, and once you've seen them you just scratch it off, and it gives someone, you know, these are probably quite iconic horror films. So like, let's go into this one. This one's $12, so plus £4 shipping. But if we look at that, so you've got it's got some of them scratched off, so underneath there are sort of pictures that sort of describe the type of film, but I can't really see very well. But that looks like Dawn of the Dead, that one with the backlit sun. You got A Nightmare on Elm Street, Hellraiser, Scream. So you would go through this Insidious, you go through and you scratch off all the films. You know, I'd have to say I've probably seen all of these, but I think there's a few on here that I might not. I've deliberately put aside certain films that I haven't seen because I know they're brilliant, but they're like rainy day films. You know, if I get unwell, which is quite a bleak way to look at it, and I'm stuck in hospital, you know, like the Godfather films. I've never seen the Godfather films, and that sounds mad for someone that's into films as much as me, but I know they're supposed to be really good, so I've put them aside. I only seen Scarface last year. You know, that's pretty mad. So I've put films aside that I'm going to watch at a later date. So there's Captain Spaulding there, bless him. There's probably loads of films in there that people haven't seen, and even if you do movie nights with friends, you can buy this poster and work your way through. There's probably one a week. Looks like 100 there, but work your way through the films that you're waiting to see. There's one here for $9.95. Top 100 movies of all time bucket list include bonus stickers and scratching tool. I mean, comes in a tube. That's just so cool. Oh, there you go. You can see these are actual. They're not horror necessarily, but you got like Terminator, Casablanca, The Lion King. You know, you could just have normal films if you wanted to, but I would stick to the horror myself. The third one or fourth one is on my list is horror themed curtains, horror themed shower curtains. So you've probably been to the person's house, had a quick look in there, so you use their bathroom for a little tinkle, and you see they've just got a bog standard shower curtain. Now this probably wouldn't suit a family if they're, you know, because the kids aren't going to want to go in and see a scary picture behind the shower curtain, but maybe for someone that's living on their own, you know, that's into their horror, that's cool, that's so cool. I mean, I would do it, but my wife wouldn't have it with the kids walking around. So you've got one there which is just all film covers, and you've got Freddy, Jason and Michael there, and you've got one which is just a guy with his bloody hands against the sort of cover. So when you're on the inside of it, maybe taking a shower, it looks like you've got the sort of someone on the outside waiting to get in. But there are hundreds of these, and they go for around $20 each. Again, super cheap. They're probably not very good at what they do. Maybe you can buy some higher quality ones, but you know, there's one there with a knife that could be like Psycho, or it could be Friday the 13th. It's not probably Friday. It's probably more Halloweeny, but there's loads, so plenty to choose from, and you know they haven't got one because you've been into their bathroom, right? You've seen that they haven't got one, so you're not going to pick something they've got already. So that's pretty cool. Now, it wouldn't be some horror gifts without the classic NECA dolls. Now, the problem with this is that someone might have a collection of them already, and if you get some of the big ones, some of the films that they're into, there's a good chance they've already got it. So there's a bit of a risk. So what I've done is I've selected 2 NECA dolls that I would love that are kind of rare. Not rare as far as the NECA dolls are concerned, but you don't see them on people's shelves so much. That's because they're kind of like culty films. One of them is more well known than the other. Right here we've got Jeffrey Combs, which is from The Reanimator. And this is such a great sort of zombie film where he sort of brings someone back to life and it goes horribly wrong. Jeffrey Combs is amazing in it. I like him in everything he's in, but he's particularly good in this. And you've got like the NECA Dolls. If you haven't seen my NECA reviews, I'll put them in the corner up here. But basically, they are high quality, detailed sort of pictures of the film. The detail's really high. This lab coat he's wearing is probably made out of some sort of fabric. It's not just plastic. And they have really good detail. There's a cat that he's sort of dissected, and there's the head that was talking to him. So everybody loves the NECA stuff. So it's a great gift. And if they haven't got any NECA stuff, then look through it all. You can get some for like $15 all the way up to a couple of hundred because of how rare they are. But I wouldn't buy them off Wish, because there's a lot of fakes on there, and there's no sort of guidance as to whether it's a fake or not. Nobody wants a fake NECA doll, because the proof is in the pudding. The detail is what makes NECA so good, and this one is awesome. There's not a lot of chance he or she's going to have a NECA Reanimator Jeffrey Combs figure. If they did, that'd be really unlucky, or maybe it's just one of their best films, so they've definitely got it. But any real big horror fan would definitely know the Reanimator. And even if they haven't, they would then go, oh, what's this? What a great doll. I'm going to go watch that, and they'd fall in love with it. The second one is the second one is Candyman. Now, they're doing a remake of Candyman later on this year. Jordan Peele is directing it. They've already picked the cast and things like that. It looks really good. But this is from the classic Candyman that came out in the 90s, I think. The reason I picked this one is because it is an iconic horror film. However, you never see it on people's shelves. And it's not even one of those films that you could go, oh, I didn't like it very much, because it is so niche. It is such a niche horror film. He has become a cult icon. So he wasn't particularly big at the time, but definitely has earned himself the place at the table of Candyman, because you have to say his name in the mirror 3 times and stuff like that. It's a monster film. So that, again, is a really good option to go for. I'll put the links for those separately down in the description. But those two are together. That's like the possible NECA dolls is what you want to look for. So number 5 or 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think we're on 6. So this is a bit of a shameless self-promotion, actually. Horror fans and movie fans love cryptic stuff. So another movie fan would look at it and go, oh, I know what that's from. Now, I had this little idea. I've seen it on a tattoo, actually. And it was just the icons' weapons from the films. So if you look here, I've made a little hoodie out of it. It's on my Teespring account. I'll put the link down there. But I've put on here, don't call yourself a horror fan, ... unless you can name these. And the idea is that you'd be wearing this top at your convention or whatever, and then people are like, I know those, and they start talking about them. Or just everyday use, just proves that you're a horror fan. And I'm going to give it away. So you've got Nightmare on Elm Street, you've got Halloween, which is the knife, you've got the machete from Friday the 13th, you've got the chainsaw from Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It could have been from Evil Dead, but I thought we'll keep it to the villains. You've got the balloon from It, you've got the axe, again could have been Evil Dead, but it isn't. That one with the slight sort of ear on the back, the little pickaxe bit on the back of the axe, that is from The Shining. And then, I mean, you can't confuse that with any other. The next one, that is the lament configuration from Hellraiser. Now, if you got all those, me and you are friends. So that's the way that shirt works. So it's $42.99. If you like that, please go and purchase it. It will support the channel. So the next one is trivia games. Now, there's nothing more a horror or movie fan in general likes than to be able to prove it to everybody. And so I've included a list of trivia games. So you've got Slasher Cards, which is a horror movie trivia game there. That's $35. You've got Horror Trivia, Endless Games Horror Trivia Card game. Scary Fun Halloween, blah, blah, blah. That's just standard title. That's $16. You've got some other ones there. There's some trumps cards, but basically anything horror that allows someone to prove their worthiness of being a horror fan. If there's a couple of you, maybe you can sort of do it together and battle it out for who's the best. You got movie quotes. That's quite a cool game. But you've also got any board game. So you've got Monopoly, but in the It franchise format. So it's got like, I think it's branded to like the It, so you'd have dairy and stuff like that rather than like Mayfair and what have you. So that's cool. Check them out. Those go up to sort of like $50. So we're now heading up towards the more expensive items. Next, these are really cool. Now there's a very small chance that whoever you're buying for actually has them, because in fairness they're quite new, but they're very unique and there's not that many of them about, not that many different types about. These are made by Mezco. They are not Jack in the Box, because I think that's a brand. So they actually call them Burster Box standards. Burster Box standard, Burster Box, Trick or Treat. Basically, there are a Jack in the Box where you turn the ding like that, but you can get it where Pennywise jumps out, Sam from the Trick or Treat TV film comes from the Friday the 13th, Freddy. And I think out of all of those, I personally would go for the Chucky one. Let's look at the Chucky one. I mean, that is proper cool, this Chucky one. Look at that. I think it works well because he is actually a little bit comical looking, so putting him in a doll is just cool. It just works really well. Whereas, see, you can fold him up and then you crank this little handle here and then he pops out ding, like that. I mean, that's proper cool. So those are around $50 each. So look at the Freddy one. This one's pretty funny, but his face is obviously quite unrealistic because it doesn't look like Freddy. It just looks like a, well, it does look a little bit like Freddy, but yeah. And I don't think I think his hat comes off, so it pops off because they've got the hat separate there. See that? But those $35 to $50, that would make a great addition to the collection. I haven't got any, so if anybody wants to send me one, go for it. If Mezco are watching, I just advertised your company for you. By I mean, send me the full set. You know, they probably cost you about 50p to make anyway, and I will do reviews of them. So yeah, Merry Christmas. I don't think that's going to happen. The next one is a little combined one. Now, people that collect action figures, especially these pop ones, Funko Pop have made so many of these action figures. They're not particularly rare. They're just like little comical sort of action figures. You can get Freddy, you can get Jason, you can get all these, right? But they're only about $10 each, so collecting them is really easy. You know, you could go and spend $100 and get all of the ones you like, and that's it. Now, I like the ones that cost a lot more because, like NECA, they're like $40 each, because you're not going to just go and buy all them at once. They are a collection. However, if somebody likes to do the unwrapping and the opening and stuff, this I thought was a great idea. If you go to Amazon and look for Horror Collection Mystery Mini Series 3, you can buy what they call a display case or a window case, and it's basically what they give to the shops, but it has, this one has, it's a box of 12, so you get to open, you might get duplicates. That's just tough luck. You can resell them. But if you wanted to buy someone some figures, but actually one of these is a little cheap, you can buy a whole box, $50 plus $6.50 shipping, and it has Jaws, Twisty's the Clown. Oh, it's got Freddy with the syringe fingers from Dream Warriors. So I wonder if that's actually written on the box he comes in. Clockwork Orange has met the horror sort of franchise. You've got Elvira, Slimer, you know, there's loads. So a whole box of them, and you just like open 12. You know, you get to open one at a time. To me, that's great. That's like 12 mini presents. But it doesn't end there. If you think actually you want to push the boat out a little bit further and go a little bit up market, you've got this one, which is, let me guys, I think it's Toy NK, or it could be Toink. I'm not sure. But these are horror movie collectibles, and it's basically like a loot crate. You might have a action figure in there. You might have, what's it got, a hip flask or a lunchbox, but it's basically a loot crate. They put, there's a DVD there. They put a load of stuff that they've collected. I don't think it means you necessarily get what's on the listing here. They just send you a box and it's potluck. Whatever ends up in the box that you get. But it's just basically a load of random movie memorabilia all around the horror genre. So on this one, it's got like a Shaun of the Dead. You've got like a keyring, Overlook Hotel. So that's from the Shining. Just to pretend finger. Hit Flask of Film, Silent Retreat. I've seen that. A Cup, Halloween, John Carpenter's Halloween. You know, so The fun thing about these is until you open it, you don't know what's inside. So they do loot crate and things like that. I'll see if I can find a link for those where you do it by subscription every month. They send you might get a t-shirt in there with some other bits. But this is all basically a one-off buy. So it's $60, $33 to ship to the UK. I think it's an American thing. So $61 to send that to you, and you can just wrap it up. It comes in the laminate configuration box, which can be used later on for something else. And the last one in this sort of segment is the horror collector's pack. So this is $100.55. And it's, there you go, window box assortment. So it's got Pennywise, Freddy, the Jason Voorhees, the first one, the second one with the bag over his head. I don't remember using a pickaxe. Maybe I can't remember that. There's another Pennywise there with some balloons. You got Regan McNeil from The Exorcist. There's Jason, the Jason we know and love. There's another Regan McNeil. You got Surgeon Freddy. You got The Exorcist. I can't remember his name, but he's got his bag and his tools and stuff. Another Freddy, and in the boxes there, just more of the same. So you get 12. That's a window box. You get 12 figures in there. So you wrap that up, give it to them. They open it. There's 12 minifigures to unwrap and look at what they've got. Look at what ones they. Again, you might start a collection off. They might be very keen and start collecting those. That'd be cool. Right, now we're at the stage, if you really want to start pushing the boat out and buy them something that you know they haven't got because it's so expensive, and you think, actually, I'm going to spend the money and get them something really special. The first one I'd point out is the Mezco Toys Annabelle prop replica doll. Now, this is like a 1-to-1 replica. It's an 18-inch doll, and it to every way I've seen it, it looks like the Annabelle doll from the films. So it's $130, but it is an 18-inch soft toy. So it's basically, it's like a plastic, but it's got proper clothing on it, so it's, you know, just like the original Annabelle doll. And you know, that's just wicked sick. You could just put that on your shelf, and people will be like, "Whoa, that is so cool! That's like the Annabelle from the film." So I think that's definitely on my bucket list. But the piece de la resistance is, I don't know if I said that right, but if you really, really want to treat someone, I hope some of my family members are listening here, there is the creme de la creme. You ready? The LLC Universal Studio Chucky Doll. Now, not the new one. None of the new ones, and not the Bride of Chucky, the ones that were recreated. This is from the first and second films, and third ones as well. This is a good guy doll. It is a 1-to-1 developed doll, so it isn't one that was used on screen, but it is considered exactly the same by the licensed studio. So it says here, developed by Garrett Zima, is an officially licensed 1-to-1 scale. So it's the full-size Chucky doll that you see in the films, and every little detail, you know, unless they've just stole that off the film, every single little detail with the freckles, the blue eyes, the clothes, that is a Chucky doll. And it comes, look at that, it comes in the Good Guys box, which is just A+, just like the film, ages 14 and up. And it's got the little things you can do with him. You can play like Builder, you can play Cowboys and Indians. He's a fireman, Chucky. So this, I mean, this is an investment. If you are watching this and you think, I'm just going to buy this for myself, it's $500, right? And you can't get a better. In fact, they're not allowed. This is licensed, so they're not allowed to make a doll and call it a Good Guys doll, because this company's been allowed to develop them by the Universal Studios, I guess, who owns the rights to it. It comes in the box, and this is what I would do with this. If you're going to a convention and Brad Dourif, the guy that voices Chucky, is there, or Andy Barclay, or the girl that plays Kyle, or all three of them. If you're going to a convention, they're having like a Chucky's meet. I think it's Brad Dourif's niece that is in the cult of Chucky. Get them to sign it. It's $500. That is not, you know, it's not going to get cheaper than that. These are particularly rare. They cost a lot to make. Put a lot of time into them, so it's not going to be the sort of thing that everybody has. Keep it in the box unless you can get out of the box without damaging it, and get them to sign the box. Now, if you keep this for 20 years and you've got Brad Dourif's signature on there, 30, 40 years even, unfortunately, people don't live forever. It's horrible to say, but the more rare someone's signature becomes because they're no longer able to sign it, that is when the price of these things go up. Now, if you've got Brad Dourif's signature on it and you've got some other people's signature on it, and those become sought after, this is going to go up in value. You probably wouldn't want to sell it, but that would be a very high value piece to add to your collection. So boys and girls, once again, thanks for watching. I know it's not a movie review, but a lot of you do like some of the other stuff I sort of come up with. So I thought this would be a good little sort of in-between piece. So hopefully I've helped some of you fans out there getting your presents, and maybe I might get some viewers that have the idea of wanting to get someone a horror related sort of gift for Christmas, but doesn't know what to get them because they're not a horror fan themselves, doesn't know what real cult stuff is. I hope I've helped you sort of buy stuff. As I said, I'll put all of the links for the things that I've pointed out down in the description. If you do go ahead and buy them through those links, that supports my channel, so that would be even better. But bye for now, and keep watching horror.